wanted to talk to you about what happened to me a year ago today. So, my husband nominated me for the Barnardo's Mother of the Year. Barnardo's Australia is one of the leading child protection charities that helps adults and children get away from abuse. So then, to my surprise, not only did I get past the top 10, I got into the top 3. So the top 3 ladies, we had to go into Hobart, and we had a morning in the executives building, and they had everyone from newspapers to news crews, and they had a few of the lovely ladies from Barnardo's Australia, and were there so that when the winner was announced, they would be there for the press and any questions and photos and all that kind of fun stuff. So we went through the person who nominated you. As I'd explained, my husband nominated me, so he had to get up and do his speech again, that what he'd actually written out and why he had nominated me. And then there was another 2 young girls that got up and spoke about their mothers, their stepmothers, things like that. So they got up, and then we were listening to the MC talking, which was Georgie Love. Australia, you guys would know her from Win News and also The Bachelorette. I've actually got to meet her, and she's the most loveliest person. You may have actually noticed Hayley and I mentioned her in one of my other vlogs, the New Wheels vlog. She was actually in the magazine, so we got to meet her there. So my husband and obviously I had to be there. I also invited my mum and Hayley as well. So have been around 19 weeks, I think I was then. So we didn't actually know it was a boy at that time. So everyone kept asking, and all the press and everyone wanted to know, and we didn't know. We didn't know for quite a while after that. So it was kind of hard to try and convince them that we didn't know. They just kept thinking we did, but no, we actually had no idea. But yeah, we got to meet Georgie Love, and as I said, a couple of the beautiful ladies from Barnardo's, and yeah, we sat there and they were about to announce the winner. Actually, Jackie Petrusma, she got up and announced the winner, and the poor thing, she had I think a broken leg at the time, so she was on crutches, and so she got up on stage and said her piece, and then had this piece of paper, and in big block letters it had my name written on it, and she obviously said my name, and the rest is history, really. But yeah, it was quite funny because Steve still says to this day, a year later, that he actually saw written on the piece of paper, because where she was standing there was windows, so it had an absolutely beautiful view, this room, and because of the way that the sun was shining into the room, and it was shining right on that piece of paper, and he's like, I saw the first 3 letters of our last name, and he's just like not even a split sec, he said, as soon as she opened that piece of paper, I saw those 3 letters, and then straight away she announced the winner. And so after I was announced the winner, we were whisked away. My poor mum, actually, she got stuck in the room. She had no idea where we had all disappeared to, because Hayley, myself and Steve were taken away and taken down to one of the local parks, St David's Park, I believe it was, to have some photos done for the newspaper to announce that I was Tasmania's winner. So, because I said, I was pregnant and I wasn't well at that time with him, and that particular day I hadn't been feeling very well, so I was actually lucky to get there in the first place. But I got there, I was announced the winner, and I am so glad I did go. but as soon as I was announced, and because of all the TV crews already being there, they'd already found out, the newspapers knew, so everyone wanted to do phone interviews with me. Well, actually, they wanted me to go in to a couple of the studios locally here in Tassie and speak on radio live about it. And I was like, I'm not well. You know, the Bernardo's ladies agreed, and my husband agreed and just said, no, Amanda's going home to rest. She's not well. You can do a phone interview. So I think we left, I think it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and this thing was like at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we were there all day. Like, this announcement only took like 10-15 minutes max. The rest of the time were photos and interviews. So it was a very, very full day. And yeah, I'm just so honoured that I was chosen. I can't actually believe it's been a year already. Like, it's crazy to think that, as I said at the time, I was 19 weeks pregnant with Alex, and now here he is, you know, 8 months later. It's just crazy. But yeah, they've just announced the new winner for Tasmania and obviously all the other states. So I just wanted to come on and say congratulations to the new winner. That person obviously may not watch my vlogs, but I wanted to come on and say that it's a huge big honour, and little did I know, not, you know, that anyone would ever nominate myself, but that I would actually win this. Like, I've seen these ads on TV and in the newspaper. Sorry about Alex, he's getting really tired. Yeah, seen them on the news, read them in the newspaper, heard about them on the radio, and always thought, you know, my mum to me is my hero, and for all the things that she did for me growing up, and I wanted to thank her, and this is one of the ways that I wanted to thank her. So the fact that I never actually got around to doing it, and I actually wanted to, definitely in 2016, I was like, yep, gonna do it. Or 2015 actually it was. Yep, finally I'm going to nominate my mum, and she'll be surprised because I'm not going to tell her. Well, little did I know that hubby had the same idea, and yeah, I won. So it's just crazy. Like, as I said, I can't believe it's been a year already. It has changed in my life in that year that it just blows my mind, like what I've been through. I just wanted to quickly say thank you to all the sponsors as well for my wonderful prizes. Breville sent me a awesome, I don't know what you'd call it, a food processor, and it's very, very cool. It chops up baby food, so I can make my own baby food, so that I was really happy about. The Woolstore, we had given I had been given a voucher for 2 people to spend the night at the Woolstore. I've just used it, so thank you. Naomi, thank you, from Red Balloon. She donated a voucher. I will put a link in the description below for all these places, so if you guys want to check them out, go ahead. Maggie Beer as well sent a lovely signed copy of one of her latest cookbooks. I don't actually have it at me obviously in the moment, it's in my kitchen, but I absolutely love all of the recipes, and I love Maggie Beer. We had some little teacups and tea sent to me. I had chocolates, I've had flowers, I've had so much stuff. There's a Canon camera. I've yet to use it. What else? There's just so much stuff. And other people in the community as well. I just wanted to say thank you to all the Tasmanian MPs that sent letters to say congratulations, not only ones from the Huon Valley, but there was ones from like Glenorchy and like Launceston. I think one of them sent me one and said, you know, how proud they were that, you know, to find out that someone like myself had won such an honourable thing. So that was quite sweet. So I've got all of those letters saved in a special spot. Actually, it's in the box that I was given, that sits in the top of my pantry. This is a special spot for all my things. And obviously Bernardo's did a plaque, and so I've got a lovely award sitting in my kitchen, and it's just been absolutely incredible. And I still have people stop me in the supermarket telling me, you know, congratulations for winning, and they still ask me when I'm going to Sydney to find out if I have won for the whole of Australia. That was back in May, so that was the next thing. We, as part of winning for Tasmania, I was chosen to go obviously to Sydney, and so we got to meet a lot of the other Bernardo's workers. We actually went out to their Penrith, I think it was, building, and have a look around and sit down and talk about what they actually do for the community, because some of the people didn't know. And obviously us winning, they wanted us to go home to our states to just not only say, you know, look at me, I won an award, but to get Bernardo's name out there, so to help them. Obviously, as I said, they're a charity, so they don't get a lot of money to help children or families in need, to get away from abuse or neglect or anything like that. So to be able to come home and explain to people in detail what Bernardo's Australia does was just absolutely fantastic. And I was like, that would have done me. Like, I wouldn't have cared if I got any other prize. Just knowing what this charity does is just absolutely amazing. And yeah, just walking around that place and listening to a couple of the ladies that worked there, and they had different roles that all these different places, these people would do. So they had someone, you know, that would look after the social aspect. They had someone, you know, like therapists and all those different things. And if people need help finding homes and things like that. So if you think that's you, the link to Bernardo's Australia is below. Go and check them out. I promise you, even if you're not looking for a career in that, I really want you guys to go and check out their website. And obviously, as I said, the winner for this year has just been announced. But if you're thinking, you know somebody, whether it's your mother, your sister, your daughter, your best friend, you know, a teacher in your school that is a hero to you, somebody that goes above and beyond, that's just a plain person that, you know, that's adopted their grandchildren or their stepchildren because, you know, the mother or father neglected them. And you know somebody like that, or even like myself, somebody that was disabled that has children. Not many of us do, so you might not find many, but if you know somebody, any woman, go and nominate them for Bernardo's Mother of the Year. It is honestly, as I have said numerous times, oh, my arm's hurting, the best thing that has ever happened to me. So I wanted to say to my husband, thank you so much for nominating me, and I cannot believe it's been a year already. Like, that's just crazy. Crazy. So yeah, we went to, as I was saying, we went to Sydney, the nominated person from each state, so the winner of each state, and the person that nominated them. So my husband and I both got to go to Sydney. Unfortunately, Hayley had school at the time, so Mum looked after her while we were away for a couple of days. Thank you, Mum, for looking after Hayley. So yeah, we got to go to Sydney, and we got to meet all the other amazing mums, and like some of them well, all of them really, I still talk to, you know, not on a daily basis, but we do catch up, and a couple of us have caught up, you know, in our different states. We're kind of all getting together, so which has been lovely to keep in contact with everybody and just finding other people in the community, whether it's a small community like mine or, you know, Melbourne, Victoria, like that's such a big place. Finding somebody that has been through something like what you've been through and understands you is just like one in a million. So to find like 8 of these, there's 8 women, like including myself, so 7 other women that knew what it was like, not personally, because obviously none of the others had a disability, but you know, one mum has been through, I'll just give you an example, like hell and back with one of her daughters. One of her daughters was born, she has epilepsy, and she is just amazing. This woman, this mother, and she has another one, a littler one, that she looks after as well. And her kids are just amazing. They are the most adorable things. That was the other thing I kind of do feel bad about, is that on the day it was announced for the national winner, so in the end, on the last day we were there was a big press thing that we went to, and again, newspapers, radio, TV, everyone, and people that, you know, work for Bernardo's. There was just everybody was there. So we all got together, you know, had a great time, and again, got up on stage, had to answer some questions about, you know, Steve had to answer some questions about why he picked me for Mother of the Year. I had to answer questions about, you know, my day-to-day life with living with a disability, or living, you know, looking after two kids. Obviously now it's 2 kids, but before it was only 1, so it was a bit easier, but having 2 kids. So yeah, I'm not actually sure when the winner for the national one will get announced. It probably won't be on, I think it was the 5th last year, because they try and do it the weekend before Mother's Day. So the Thursday or the Friday, they try and get all that out, and then so we can all go home and be with our families for Mother's Day, which is really lovely. But again, those 3, I think there was 4 or 5 days we were in Sydney for, and they were just jam-packed, and like I suffered a really long time afterwards because of that. I was so tired being pregnant, and we just had no time for ourselves. But anyway, what I was saying before, so a lot of I think everybody else except myself, because I was the furthest obviously away from Sydney than, you know, someone in Darwin or someone in Perth or someone in Melbourne, someone in Sydney themselves. So everyone else had invited their children to come up to hear whether they were going to be the winner or not. So as I said, Hayley and Mum came to the Hobart one, and I invited Steve's parents to Sydney because obviously they live in Melbourne, so it was closer for them. But now, like, I look back now and kind of go, everyone else brought their kids. No one got to meet Hayley, which was a bit upsetting, but that's okay. They will. one day. The night, I think it was the night before the national winner was announced, we went out to Sales in Sydney. Again, Sales, thank you so much for putting on one of the best nights I've had, even though I couldn't drink, which was a bit of a shame. But yeah, this woman that, as I said, I can see myself being friends with for a very, very long time. She was making sure I wasn't drinking and making sure that, you know, that I was okay and things like that. But there was just so much. Every day there was something on, and it was just absolutely crazy. I don't really think we had any downtime. Even at the national announcement, which was at the museum, which was just absolutely beautiful. The view in that place was incredible. And I kind of wish, again, I was vlogging back then so that I could have taken you on the journey, because, you know, photos are one thing, but actually being there in the moment and videoing something so you get my reaction is completely different to me sitting here now, a year on, remembering something that happened. So, alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all next week, maybe. I'll see you all next time. Bye guys.